Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Kyle Clark. Lakewood has not issued any residential building permits in months, all because of an ordinance meant to preserve park space.
9 News reporter Spencer Soisher is at City Council tonight. And Spencer, they're talking about repealing this ordinance.
Yeah, this all started as a citizen-driven petition to stop an apartment building from being built near Belmar Park. But the petition that then became an ordinance has some unintended consequences, to say the least. The city ordinance now requires anyone building in Lakewood to set aside a portion of land for park space, and it makes it so the developers can't pay their way out of that requirement. Last year, a citizen petition gathered enough signatures to put the ordinance on the ballot, but the city council adopted the measure before they were forced to hold a special election. The ordinance stopped the developer from building next to Belmar Park, but it also stopped other building in Lakewood. The way it's written right now, people would have to give up portions of their property for public parkland, like making parts of their backyard or front yard public. The city hasn't been issuing permits since December. Now they're discussing what to do about it.
Simple changes to the ordinance under consideration this evening, well, it's not the citizen initiative, can and should be made. Changes that solve the unintended consequences and honor the constituents who signed the petition.
Words of an inspiration, which I often yell at, are nuggets. You can do it. Find a way.
Council members say they're not even sure if this ordinance is legal to begin with. A state law that passed last year required cities in Colorado to offer developers the option to pay their way out of requirements like this one to preserve park space. Right now, they are now finished with public comment after about 2.5, 3 hours. Council members are now talking about what to do and if they'll repeal this ordinance. Live in Lakewood, Spencer Soisher, 9 News.
A Mountain View Town Council member accused of shooting a teenager in the face could lose his seat this spring. Tonight, Town Council agreed to call a special election in May so voters can decide what to do with Brent Metz. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says Metz shot a 17-year-old boy near Conifer last September. Investigators say the teenager and his friend were on private property trying to ask if they could take homecoming pictures there. Voters will have 2 questions to answer in this special election. Should Metz be recalled? And if so, who should replace him?
What a way to start a week. Today, we got a preview of spring. Now, the dogs, the people right there near the water, smart. The guy doing the cold plunge, he's into that thing. It's healthy.
Life is about choices, Kathy.
I would choose not to do that.
Same.
They say it's healthy, though, and good for you.
They say it does work for something. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, it has been weeks since we've had a sunny, blue sky, warm weather day. Why not stand in the warmth and enjoy that instead of torturing yourself by jumping into the cold? But that's a story for another day. It's still quite nice in Denver after highs today in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. We've cooled back to the mid 40s, and it's really just a quiet, lovely evening. But the wind has been a big problem today in the foothills, gusts to 70 and 80 miles per hour. Winds coming down a bit, but will return tomorrow. Gusty Chinook, downsloping winds, snow eater winds, taking away all that snow from last week, and it'll be a part of our forecast again for tomorrow. Winds advancing ahead of a system that'll bring a few light snow showers to the mountains. Denver stays dry. We get another warm, dry day. If you thought to yourself, man, I wish I would have gotten out today and enjoyed this day, you get a chance tomorrow and maybe another chance later on this week. This above average temperature trend looks to continue all week long. Over the next few hours, temperatures will bottom out in the mid 30s, climbing back to the mid 60s. Weather headlines include the wind forecast for the foothills. This above average temperature trend will not last forever. I'll tell you when it will end. And some areas will see snow Wednesday. That forecast ahead.
A man is dead after an hours-long standoff with Boulder police. It started this morning on CU Boulder's campus when police got a call about a man with a gun who was threatening to hurt himself and others. Police issued a shelter in place near the Folsom parking garage in the Champion Center. They say he was armed and looking for a woman with a protection order against him. Then they spotted the man's car on 40th Street, north of Table Mesa Drive. Police spent more than 4 hours trying to take him into custody. Then he took his own life. Boulder police lifted the shelter in place just before 8 tonight. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help in tracking down some stolen puppies and the people who took them. The Sheriff's Office released this video today showing the theft from Perfect Pets off University Boulevard yesterday afternoon. Deputies say that 3 men came in a few minutes apart, walked around, asked employees questions, including about 2 bulldog puppies priced at $4,300 each. The video shows one of the men faking a seizure, and while people try to help him, another man grabs 2 puppies. An employee tried to tackle him. That's when he dropped the puppies before scooping them up and running. A gold Escalade picked him up along with another man, took off. The man who faked the seizure was arrested. If you know anything about what happened, call the number on your screen.
An assistant coach for the Broncos is out of jail on bond tonight after he was accused of punching a police officer at the airport over the weekend. Police arrested outside linebacker coach Michael Wilhoit yesterday afternoon. According to an arrest affidavit, he pulled up to the passenger drop-off lane at the airport and left his truck unattended. When he came back, a uniformed Denver police officer told him he couldn't do that. Court documents say that Wilhoit told the officer to shut up and bumped him in the chest. Officer shoved him back. According to the affidavit, Wilhoit then punched him in the face so hard he knocked him to the ground. The officer then tased the coach, who drove away. 9 News legal analyst says the charge Wilhoit's facing could come with prison time.
The use of physical force against a law enforcement officer, when you, the charged defendant, should know that that is a law enforcement officer, is one of our violent crimes that has a mandatory minimum prison term.
Wilhoit's been with the Broncos for 2 years. He also worked for Sean Payton with the Saints. Spokesperson for the team says they're aware of the incident and gathering information.
Elon Musk is doubling down on a threat to federal workers. He is once again saying that they have to respond to his email, asking them to list 5 things they accomplished last week or they'll be fired. Despite that, individual agencies within the Trump administration told their workers they didn't actually have to do that. It's created a really confusing situation for government employees. One of those workers is a woman in Denver who works for the IRS. We agreed not to name her as she fears losing her job. She says the email made her angry.
The managers know what we do. They keep tabs on what we do. We shouldn't have to justify that. I don't like it, and I don't like it coming from Elon Musk. This Doge department, which I don't even know who they are.
Elon Musk is leading President Trump's efforts to downsize the federal government. NBC News reports the tech billionaire's team will now use AI to determine whether jobs should be eliminated.
Some scam victims hope that Congress will undo something that has cost them thousands of dollars over the past few years. So right now, if somebody withdraws money from a tax-preferred account, like 401k, they get taxed on that withdrawal, even if they are convinced to do it by a criminal as part of a scam. The change came in a tax bill that President Trump signed into law during his first term in 2017. It meant that a woman from Colorado who lost $58,000 to a scammer then had to pay another $7,000 in taxes on top of that.
Like one hit after the next after the next. I would just remember being in that tax appointment and I could not get out of there fast enough to just sob in my car because here I was having another tax obligation to both the federal and the state.
The AARP is pushing Congress to add back that deduction for victims of fraud. They estimate that it would cost the government about $100 million in lost tax revenue. Between the high rent around the Denver metro area, expensive mountain towns, Coloradans certainly know about the affordable housing crisis.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause is joining us. And Rachel, a new institute at MSU Denver is teaching students how to tackle affordable housing and then pass on that knowledge.
Yeah, a large pledge to the MSU Denver Foundation helped the university establish the Affordable Housing Institute and expand offerings for students. The university says classes here are helping to teach students about solutions for this issue that has long plagued the state.
So let's start with this.
Students in this class at MSU Denver are tackling a tough topic, affordable housing.
Rents are increasing.
Andy Proctor is the director of the FHL Bank Topeka Affordable Housing Institute. It's new to campus.
But it's tremendously complicated.
Proctor says Colorado's need for affordable housing is serious.
We, as a whole, did not as a state use the word crisis until a few years ago. But it's always been, if you're a lower income person, housing stability is always been a crisis.
So here's a question.
He's teaching students like Stacy Berry how to navigate the system to help people find housing. Everything from policy to the impacts programs have on people. Challenges Berry knows firsthand.
I was in an abusive relationship and I had children and daughters that needed to see me not just stand there and keep us all in a bad situation. So I pretty much risked it all to get us out of that situation.
Finding information and resources to secure housing, she says, was tough.
It was very difficult, and that's a lot of the reason why I want to know so I can help the people that don't have that information like I was.
She started Harriet's Liberation Society, providing resources for women in domestic violence situations.
I am hoping that I can bridge that gap for women so they can not have the I have to stay mindset. So they can have the courage to actually get out of those situations because it's better on the other side.
Let's do a little bit of that. I'm going to go back.
Proctor hopes the work Berry and her classmates are doing will help them land a career and create a workforce that can help connect people to housing.
I am really hopeful. I think that's the ultimate goal.
Right now, this is a certificate program at MSU Denver, and they even have non-credit courses for people in the community just wanting to learn. Those at the Affordable Housing Institute say they hope that this can share more knowledge about a very complicated system. Rachel Krause, 9 News.